when you say it's a prayer breakfast, we need the fathers of this nation, Christian, or what I would call the spiritual leaders. Where was Bishop Makariuki? Where was Njue of Catholic Church? Where was Ole Sapit of SEK? Where was Kitonga? Where was Lai? Where was Likavo from Eldoret? I'm just mentioning a few. There are people that are known to be spiritual leaders of this country.
So this was not a successful prayer breakfast?
No, you need the spiritual fathers of the country to be able to come on board and pray for the nation. This is a case of King Uzziah appearing on the altar of God to offer incense, yet he's a king.
Here you're talking about a biblical story.
Yes, and King Uzziah died. And Isaiah says, the day King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. Meaning that Kenya, before we see the spiritual leaders leading the prayers, then everything we are doing is useless. So the king must vacate the podium that is meant for the spiritual leader. And then the country can heal.
Your thoughts on this, Prof?
Kenyans need to pray for themselves wherever they are.
They don't need...
we don't need all this lunacy of people going to pray for what is all pomp and pump. The issue of religion stinks. The people who preach religion are themselves crooks. The people
the pastors there.
Yes, 90% of pastors in this country have lost dimension. Trust me, if you see all this corruption that we have today, it's geared towards. And when you see them opening their mouths there with the Bibles, closing their eyes, when we know very well that these are crooks who are stealing dams, who are stealing whatever comes, fertilizer. This is the worst of the worst. And if God is there, I hope he is.
You don't believe?
I'm telling you, if God is there.
Yes, that's a very good question.
Yes, and I'm going to answer him there because I'm a believer in myself and my God, because he answers my prayers when I pray to him.
Who is your God?
Well, do you know yours?
Yes, I know.
What is his name?
My God is well known. I serve the living God, Jehovah, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And I know the definition of my God is known. He's the God that is worshipped in this country by many. And Wajakoya may have his God, but we need to know the name of his God. I can name my God. He could have doubts and he could have reasons to ask me about my God. But at least I know my God.
So were we, as a country, were we together in terms of, praying towards one direction, with one agenda, with one mindset, as a country?
What are we praying for? The country is destroyed. Some of these prayers are the ones that are destroying this country because the people who are praying are hypocrites. And Jesus would actually come in and condemn them to death. People who say God, God, God are known to be, one, womanizers, two, thieves. The true person who prays does not go out there to tell people that I'm praying my God. And Jesus spoke of hypocrisy. The Pharisees and the Sadducees, when they dress well, go out there and stand and say, I'm doing this, I've given this. Those are the kind of people we have here in the name of preaching.
Let me say something, Ram.
Yes.
Maybe just to make Wajakoya understand, the Bible, which is the book I believe in, is full of people that they had their shortcomings, but they still led the people of God. Moses kills a Jew, but he still leads the Israelites. We have a man called David. He had blood on his hands. He still led the people of God. We had so many leaders in the Bible that had shortcomings. The shortcomings of man, you will not be perfect. Even you, even as you believe in your God that is not known, you are not perfect.
So regardless
of what's going on.
He's putting words in my mouth about my God. He didn't even let me finish.
You didn't tell us.
Now,
maybe let me wait for you to
tell
tell
us.
us.
I'm not going to go there because as a person who has been educated elsewhere,
yes,
in the United States, people don't talk about God in government or public institutions. And that is by the Constitution of the U.S.
In your and
even
opinion,
teaching religion is forbidden in schools. Therefore, I am not going to speak about God. That's my own secret. And the way I worship him is none of anybody's business of coming to tell me. I'm not a Sadducee unless he wants me to be a Pharisee.
As a country, was it in line for us to have a prayer breakfast?
Let's answer this first. Because I want this clear, because it's good to know the person you're sitting next to is my friend.
Okay.
First of all, the U.S. is talking about, I've been to the U.S. many times. I've read the American Constitution. It is engraved in the Constitution, God. If you've read the Constitution of America, the God is engraved there.
I'm a lawyer there.
And
I'm an attorney at law in the US.
And now we have, even Trump has returned the teaching of the Bible in schools.
You're lying.
No, I'm not lying. It's
Trump
there.
cannot do it. It is an issue of constitution that will go to Congress. It will never happen. I can even tell you case laws.
America's God is engraved in the Constitution.
Well, I will tell you this for
Okay,
free.
gentlemen, there is
Even
one
if
thing.
you have been there, my friend. I know you are my friend.
There is
am
one
not
thing
going
I want us
insult.
to put it into perspective, Professor and Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
Let's talk about now the healing
Yes.
importance.
Yes.
Does an event like this have any national importance in terms of healing? Because regardless of whether someone is a Muslim or a Christian or or an atheist, regardless of their religion, it does have an impact in one way or another. Do you agree with that?
I agree. Kenya needs prayer. Any sane person needs prayer. How do you approach God? It's the only avenue. Christ tells us when you pray, say this, our Father in heaven. It's well guided. And so for you to be able to present your needs to God, you need to have a medium of communication, and that is prayer. And so I believe that if this country, we pray in the right way, we let those who are endowed with the power to pray to do it. I'm not saying that everybody cannot pray. He can pray, I can pray. Each one of us can pray wherever we are. But there is an understanding that there are people that God has designated for the job. And I'm just saying, it is high time government or the parliament that is organizing the National Prayer Breakfast should consider putting them on board to listen to them and know how these things are done.
I think when I do agree with him partly, but disagree with him partly, and debating is healthy. We don't need to fight to speak.
Hasn't this
but
prayer
these
breakfast
prayers
brought leaders together?
are actually just destroying the country, the fabric of the country. And the reason why I agree with him is those who have been preordained should be the ones organizing and calling them. Because when these people go there, especially the so-called leaders that we have, they go there to preach hate, they go there to point fingers at the others, and that's where things go wrong.
Well, contrary to what you've said, the Deputy President said this, and I will quote, when you see some of us go to church, we lift hands, make contributions, it is because we cannot forget where God brought us from. Some of us have more to thank God for. You need to understand. Sometimes you judge us harshly. That's what the DP said.
Yes, but why would he say it? If God has removed him from selling chicken and eggs to being a deputy president of the country, then he should thank God personally. He should not come in and tell people how God has done this to it. I was a chokora myself here. Do I preach about it? I grew up in the streets here. And what I do, I don't tell people what I've done.
And it affected your diet?
Well, yes, it did. It did. That's why I don't eat meat. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't eat fish because of otherwise. But I don't want to go into that. There are things people do, but they don't go out there telling, glorifying instead of glorifying. You can glorify God, like what my brother here said, and I'm glad he's here. He came and prayed for me in my house. Of course, you saw the altar of God. I had a Bible there when the last time you came.
That's why I asked you,
so,
who is your God?
And I had also a Quran. And I had a Bhagavad Gita.
At one point, my God has worked in his life, so I was
No.
was trying
but what I want to tell him is, I have an altar in my house. He can testify.
With a Bible, yes.
I have a Bible, I have a Quran, I have a Bhagavad Gita, and I have what it calls. When you come to my house, you can, if you're a Muslim, there is a mat. You can go and pray. I don't discriminate.
Do we need to have more of these prayer breakfast meetings?
Well, we don't, if this is the intent, especially with what we are seeing today, where people are stealing money and taking it to the churches and then going to misglorify God in front of the earth, the heavens will fall on them. We have hypocrisy and mediocrity. People should come up and speak the truth. You should stand on your own. If Jesus was here and he went to that prayer meeting, he would turn the whole thing down. He was also angry in one way or the other. When he went to the house of God and found traders trading, and Pastor here knows, he turned everything. This is hypocrisy, mediocrity, Pharisee kind of face. We don't want this. We want people to deliver to Kenyans. We want Kenyans to pray freely without being prayed for on television when the same people are looting the country.
We need more prayer, and we need more prayer, and we need more prayer.
You speak like
The
a man of God.
only-
Are you a pastor?
When you say a man of God, I am
Yes, he is.
a servant of God. I serve God. You should serve God. Everybody should serve God, including you, because you have no power over your life. And my take is Kenya needs prayer, but I'm saying the people to organize prayer for the country must be the pastors, the bishops of this country, must call the nation to prayer. And God listens to everyone's prayer. But there is a corporate prayer for churches, and even if you bring in the Muslims and all the rest. But there needs to be people. The Uzziah must vacate that podium, and Isaiah must step on the podium.
Do you think we are having more, and just echoing what the president said,
Yes.
are we having more talk and less action? The president said, if we would just act, the country will be different in the next 5 years.
Why would the president say, if I was the president, things will work, and they will work when I say them?
And that's why you're running for president.
Yes, I don't want to go and convince somebody. If Kenyans have given me the mandate, I will put corruption to an end in one day by putting these guys in jail. Let them go and defend themselves in court. So
You believe
we cannot say.
what the president has not managed to do in more than 5 years, you can be able to do in a day?
Definitely, I can do in a day. The former president of Ghana, who is my personal friend, and he gave me refuge when I was running away from this country, in one way or the other, Jerry Rawlings. Jerry Rawlings did some things in one day and things went well, even though I don't want to go into details. And I'm not trying to say that I'm a saint. I will pray and I will ask my brother to come and pray for me. I will do things as a president, executive orders. I will issue executive orders and say, look, I'm mandated by the Constitution. I don't need to go and start saying, oh, nimeshindwa, corruption is too much. Oh, now, if what? A head of state, my friend, presidential powers, you do things right. The people who have elected you will want you to do things right. If it is this prayer business, do them in Uhuru Park. Call Prophet War and the rest, as he has said, Bishop Gitonga, Sapit, who is one of the best, who has refused corruption money, to go and pray for the people. I'm sure if Sapit, Bishop Sapit of the Anglican Church, went to Uhuru Park tomorrow and said we have a national prayer meeting, plus Bishop Gitonga, it will be full like this, because these are people who we know that they don't play about, other than taking people to a hotel, a place where you're served in 3 Ps to pray for who? Jesus was born in a manger.
Let's talk about Madaraka Day. Happened just 2 days ago here on Saturday in Narok, and they really improved some sections of Narok County. The stadium was packed. People came in, it was full. In fact, people spent the night there, waiting for just to see how the celebrations will be like. And the president spoke about one aspect that I wanted to touch on. Of course, he talked about many things: education, affordable housing, housing fund, food security, investments, infrastructure, technology, fight against corruption. He talked about the economy. But now, starting from the economy, he's saying that there is a report that last year, our national cake expanded by 6.3%, one of the highest growth rates in the world. And in consequence, over 800,000 new jobs were created, especially in the informal sector. He added that foreign direct investment increased from 35 billion in 2013 to 200 billion in 2017. Yet, here we're talking about jobs here. But is it something that is reflected on the ground? Because Kenyans are asking, where are the jobs?
It's not true. It's not true, because I think the president is just reading what is given to be read. And you can see very clearly that the economy of the country has dipped.
Yes.
You can see there are no jobs, the unemployment has increased. As you've heard Mheshimiwa Mudavadi say on the television many times, we have over 8 million Kenyans unemployed. And the young people, 80% of this country is the youth. And they have no jobs. When you go out there, you see the suffering on the streets. You see people languishing in poverty. And when you hear the president read his speech, you feel he's actually reading a contrary statement.
So this report is not actually what is happening?
No, it's not true. But he's on the right track on the matters of corruption, like introduction of the new notes, as you've seen. It will mop up all the illegal or illicit money in the houses that people are keeping away from the economy. So even this economy has stopped growing because of the hiding of the monies that are supposed to be in the circulation. It's actually in people's mattresses or some...
And under people's beds. The DCI, the EACC have discovered millions of shillings under prominent people's
Yes,
beds.
because they're hiding money in these places. And so by doing what he has done in a bigger way, instead of arresting you and taking you through another 5 years of the court as a lawyer, all the processes being done, it takes a long time to process one case. But when you stop all this money, say, we will not use the 1,000 shillings note. And the central bank governor said it very clearly. He said the 1,000 note, banknote is being used for illegal business in Kenya and in the region. And so once they withdraw it, all these thieves who think they have lots of billions will lose their money.
So technically, it's in a way fighting corruption.
Yes, a bigger way.
Do you think we have enough job opportunities in the country?
If they are created, but not now. Right now, we don't have jobs. We need to have a deliberate plan by the government to create jobs.
Professor?
The president's speech was a deliberate lie. It was a misconception. The people who write the president's speech should be put on notice that they're lying to this country. Pampering a speech and reading a speech every time we have this kind of Madaraka celebration. Last time it was Kakamega, same speech, Meru, same speech, Narok, same speech. I mean, who cares what he's going to read tomorrow?
Those are bold statements.
Those are just
you've
speeches written. Let the president actually come and show us. First and foremost, before he shows us, he doesn't have a policy. A country that is governed on what others implant for others to hear is a failure state. We are actually in a pariah state. The president has failed, and if he wants to quit, he should quit, and we call for a general election. We are tired of this mediocrity, and I agree with my brother on what he has said. Where are the jobs? Who has been employed here? Apart from those few fattish politicians who drive SUVs, black Prados on the road with the policemen pampering handsets, chasing away taxpayers from the road for them to pass to go and steal more. Maybe he could have said yes, he has succeeded on that by lying to Kenyans that we have created 800 jobs. Where?
But
Look at what happened in KRA the other day. They sacked how many people? They just went and picked the low-level civil servants in KRA. 75 of them had loomed them before even following the due process, just because of what? They should have started with Njiraini and group up there, so that we can see who actually is stealing from this country, instead of going to duplicate young families, putting people who have been employed just for a year, monitoring them. The president is lying to this nation. And I repeat it, and I will say that he should actually tell Kenyans the truth. Let him bring statistics. Let him tell us 40%, 40 people from the Kikuyu tribe, 100 from the Luyas. Then we shall also see the names. We don't want to be told this all the time. I'm sorry. It's a failure. The country is failed.
But remember, there is one aspect that we need to also remember within the president's speech, that he, however, acknowledged that there are lack of jobs. He said this: we, however, have much further to go. Too many Kenyans are still struggling to make ends meet. There are not enough decent jobs for many ambitious and learned youth graduating from our learning institutions every year.
Why can't we go the Indian way?
Isn't he speaking
let me
facts
just
when
come to that. He's not talking facts. It could be facts, but he's not talking facts, because the millions of shillings that have been stolen by the people closer to him, cabinet secretaries and what have you, if they have stolen 5 billion, and you have 40 million Kenyans or 44 million Kenyans, and out of that you have got 20% or 30% who are unemployed, why can't we remove that money and put it in private sector and empower entrepreneurship among these young men, just like we do in India, whereby if every unemployed Kenyan is empowered with 10,000 shillings just to start an entrepreneurship, then what is the problem? Must we wait for them to be employed or for them to be empowered to come into business in terms of what has happened in China and India?
Do you agree with what he says?
On unemployment, yes, as I've said.
Is the president lying?
The president, as I said, is just reading what he's been given to read. The people who want to portray, and anybody in government would want to show you that they are working, and Uhuru is one of them. He needs to work harder and create employment for the youth of this country. On the final, on the banknotes, just to add on something, in 2016, Modi of India withdrew the 500 and 1,000.
Actually, we will talk on this issue of the banknotes because that was actually where we are heading to. What are your thoughts concerning this issue with the banknotes? Remember, okay, Professor, I'm seeing you're having some notes here. This one, okay.
Sterling
I'm
pounds.
seeing here we have 5 sterling pounds here. Okay. Why do you? Okay, we have this.
Well,
5 sterling pounds, and
you can turn it and
I
see
can turn it on the other side.
The texture
Okay.
of, yes.
I,
and the head.
I can feel the. Okay. And if I would put it against the light,
He says,
Alright.
says it looks beautiful. It's for the beauty of the...
And look at
it
the
looks beautiful.
texture.
and
Yeah.
The texture. And then
this is
compare
now
with this.
10 sterling pounds.
Yeah.
The
And
texture,
compare with this.
it's quite. Wow.
Now, can you forge?
All right.
Look at this paper.
Uh-huh.
The material.
So let's compare it with our Kenyan.
Is there anything you can see?
It's so different
It's
big
so
and
different.
bigger.
and bigger.
And this one you can make with any kind of paper. Just you need a machine to go
This
in.
one.
But that's not important.
But now talking of this issue concerning the money, there is one thing that I mentioned earlier on before when I was doing the introduction, that the Member of Parliament and lawyer Otiende Amono said this. I have seen the new notes unveiled. I am personally persuaded that they are contrary to Article A, Article 231 of 4 of the Constitution, to the extent that they bear the image and portrait of the founding president. Are we short of images that depict Kenya? Thumbs down on this.
First, I began by saying, I want to look at the advantages before we come to the disadvantages.
Disadvantages.
The advantages, as I said, in India, the Prime Minister Modi withdrew the 500 and the 1,000 banknotes.
Yes.
And what happened, he mopped up all the illicit money from that country. Because if you don't return this money to the bank, you will remain with the stationery in your house. In a short while, in 4 months, if you have this 1,000 notes, you'll be just having some stationery. You can use it for any
Toilet
yeah, as you do wish.
But it's going to be useless in the lecture by October.
Yes, so once it's useless, then we shall have an economy that is going to grow. And the corrupt will lose big time. And if you go to the bank with the sacks of money, the detectives are there. The NSIS is going to spread everywhere. They will ask you, where are you getting this kind of money? If you went to a bazaar, a car bazaar, or want to buy land with all this new businesses coming up, there's a possibility that those people again will be questioned. So nobody is going to lose his property to you just because you came with big money in his office. And now, addressing what you're saying on Otiende Amolo, the KICC, because I think that's what he's showing us. These are pictures or images of people. On American money or British money and even Kenyan money, we have the image of the leader.
Here.
Like Kenya, we have Jomo Kenyatta.
Jomo Kenyatta.
But now-
and here for
Yeah, that's the
Sterling
queen.
pound. We have the queen here.
The queen
And Churchill.
and Churchill. But in Kenya, the constitution said within 5 years, you're a lawyer, you know, in 2010, they said within 5 years of transition, we should move from the monies with images of people to any other feature. Okay? And KICC is not an image of a person. KICC is a feature of a country. It's simply a monument, a picture of a monument taken. So just because the statue of the founding president is there does not discount the validity of the use of the central bank using the same. I think Otiende maybe has gone too far in his.
But we have a statue of the former president, the founding father, that is Jomo Kenyatta there.
Yes.
So he's talking about the aspect of having an image or something that portrays an individual.
Yes, but is it an individual's picture? It's not. It's actually only appearing on a feature that is there. That is the KICC. The main feature there is the KICC, giving us...
Let me come to you, Prof. But before that, remember, we have a clip that I would like to play concerning what Honorable Musalia Mudavadi had said. And my director, if it's ready, let me know, and then we will run it up. Professor, you're taking it.
Otienda, it happens that me and Otienda Molo share a grandmother. We are brothers in one way. It's a brilliant mindset. And what he says is justified because he was part of those who actually wrote the Constitution. So if there's an article in the Constitution which says that, then I am with him 100% because the rule of law has to be followed. However, I am in doubt as to what was the intent of the people who are making the Constitution. We cannot do away with the people who liberated this country. As a matter of fact, we need more of these people's pictures, like we're now doing in the United States, where Obama's head, George Bush's head has been put on a 5-shilling, what have you. Let's recognize our leaders in different postures. If we have Kenyatta, Mzee Kenyatta on one page, we should have Moi on another denomination. We have Raila, Jaramogi Odinga, Masinde Muliro. What's wrong with us actually looking at?
But look at currency in terms of now value of currency. Can we have the images of everyone?
Well, if we have traditions that are followed to remember history, then why would we bury history? Why would we bury history? Here we have the Queen of England. The Queen of England was even in our denomination before we became independent in this country. Her head was there, even though I'm opposed to having people's heads on the money that I'm carrying. But philosophically speaking, or liberally speaking, even if you go to the churches, you'll find the picture of Jesus Christ. The only problem I have is there are no photographs and cameras at that time when Jesus was born. So there's some kind of imitation. But I am for the president, former president's heads and former leaders' heads being actually remembered. Kimathi, Dedan Kimathi, for example. He's a man who actually lost his life because of fighting for the independence.
You are a lawyer. Article 231, 4 of the Constitution. Yes. Do you think that Otiende Amolo is right?
But that's what I said, notwithstanding statute. What Otiende has said is actually within the law.
It's within the law.
And therefore, the governor on the other side has actually violated the law. And trust me, this thing will be thrown out of court. Let's wait and see what Okia Mtata is doing. The judges will throw it out of court because it's contrary to the Constitution. But however, notwithstanding what I've said, that Constitution or that article of the Constitution which speaks otherwise should be taken back to the Kenyans for the Kenyans actually to talk about it, because I'm against that particular article.
I think that the focus is not the statute. The focus is the KICC. It only happens that the Kenyatta's image or picture is engraved or is there. So it's not, they're not targeting the first president. I don't think they have contravened the Constitution.
They have not. Because it's up to the courts to interpret whether the picture on statute depicts Kenyatta. Because any child you ask, any child who looks at that note and you ask him, who is this, he'll tell you Kenyatta. So that will mean, notwithstanding the way things are, that the picture of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta is there. It's just like me taking my picture and putting on this and then asking you to wear. It's a piece of cloth with my picture.
So you believe they have gone against
the Constitution.
But you believe they have not gone against.
My take is this. By the time we go through the courts, Uhuru will have mopped up all this money. So
it will be too late.
It will be too late. We need to mop up this illegal money. And whatever it takes to get the country back on track, we support.
So in other words, you're saying it doesn't matter whether it was...
they can struggle in court and do what they have to do in court.
It's normal. I tend to disagree with my brother, though I agree with him. By the time these people are making this, the thieves had hidden the money already. They had returned the money. A lot of money has been changed into dollars.
And here we're talking about corruption.
This is the past.
They have not. In fact, they were caught unaware.
No, you may not know.
They were caught unaware, and you could see their faces on the podium.
The usual thieves.
Yes,
let us take a look at what Mudavadi had, that is Honorable Musalia Mudavadi said in this report.
Even as the new currency is introduced into the market, ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi says you should be careful such that corrupt individuals do not use you to cleanse their money, but warns that corruption will not be eradicated through new currency. The Amani National Congress leader says the recalling of the 1,000 shillings note will not be a direct cure to the corruption menace in the country.
The fight against corruption does not end with a new currency. Let us not deceive ourselves. The fight against corruption is bigger than a new currency.
Mudavadi claimed the corrupt are witty characters able to adapt to any change, and what the country needs was a change of mindset where public service will be seen as an opportunity to serve rather than enrich oneself. The former Deputy Prime Minister says the president should do more by ensuring that the corrupt do not escape the prosecution dragnet.
Do not extend the deadline. If they extend that deadline from 1st of October and extend it again, then you are giving room to the fellows who have illicit cash in their go-downs, in their mattresses, more time to bring it out.
He urged Kenyans to be vigilant when selling property in cash, as the corrupt would use these channels to transfer the burden of explaining the origin of their illicit wealth.
People are going to try and rush to engage in cash transactions. Be very careful. He might come and say, I want to buy your car for cash. I might want to buy your land for cash. He is transferring his problem to you.
Mudavadi urged the CBK governor to ensure the introduction of the new currency will make it difficult for counterfeits. Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua, in supporting the move to recall the currency, said it will help smoke out unpaid taxes and loot stored in houses.
We have the belief, most of us as Kenyans, that there's a lot of stolen money that is being hidden in big notes, investments and other places. And we hope that this money will now come out. The thieves will be seen because now they have to bank the money or they have to clean the money, and we'll be able to track them.
He, however, warned against victimizing people with legally obtained cash.
It is not right for us to make it difficult for them who are holding legally acquired cash to be able to bank their money or to be able to convert their money into the new notes.
He said investigative bodies should track money being banked or converted into US dollars.
I'm urging President Uhuru Kenyatta to track clearly money is being given, as donations, money is being given to different places, money is being banked, so that we know where the money is coming from.
Firstly, if this money was not in circulation, then somebody somewhere was evading tax. So all these agencies must take this thing extremely seriously.
But a group of ODM leaders have faulted the launch of the new currency. The leaders, led by Senate Majority Leader James Orengo and his National Assembly counterpart John Mbadi, claimed the designs of the new notes did not meet the constitutional threshold and should be redesigned.
That the notes that have been printed are unconstitutional. We cannot accept and allow violation of the Constitution. The Constitution is very clear that the note should not bear any face of a human being, whether dead or alive.
Tunaomba Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, ambapo tunafanya kazi pamoja, ya kwamba tutimize zile masharti ambao katiba yetu ya Kenya imeweka, la sivyo Wakenya wengine wanaweza kwenda kotini kuuliza haya yametokea kwa njia gani.
For Channel One News, I'm Betty Kiptum.
The move by the government to scrap the country's highest denomination note has been met with accolades. Billions of shillings are said to be in the hands of a few, escaping the government rather through the illicit financial flows. Wilfred Muliro, a lecturer at the university, says the government is aiming its gun at accessing the money in the hands of such individuals.
At first, I think the government is hard-pressed that there is little circulation of money. It's like there is hoarding. And when you do that, then you are hurting, you are sabotaging the economy. Some of the elements, ways of fighting what they call illegal economy, like money laundering, smuggling, and what? Yes, is always you look for ways of creating in the minds of the public that whatever they are doing, whatever currency they are using, is no longer now acceptable.
And making it harder for fraudulent business people in money laundering business to distort the economy. Muliro says though this might not directly help fight corruption, it is long overdue, and the right step towards saving the nation's economy from the hands of the shadow economy. He, however, warns of a glaring inflation should the looters offload their illicit cash to the market.
Maybe we may face what they call inflation. There will be an immediate pump of a lot of money into the economy. So a lot of money chasing a few goods. So that's the inflation, obvious, isn't it? So the prices of food, what may again, you know, the paradox of a market economy may again now skyrocket.
For many Kenyans, the time to recall their 1,000 shillings note should have been shortened, even as they remained apprehensive that it will help in the war against corruption.
Ukiniuliza ukweli, kama rais alikuwa anataka kufanya kazi ya kusaidia hii country, ingekuwa kama ile ya India, kesho ndio tujua kwamba wale wenye wako na pesa pale nyumbani watafanya nini ya ukweli. Because from now to October, these guys are crafty.
Mtu ndiye anamaliza ufisadi. Ufisadi utamalizwa na roho ya mtu. Uongozi wa mtu, roho yake atakuja na mwamko gani wa uongozi. Hiyo ndio itamaliza ufisadi, lakini sio pesa.
Hiyo ni kutumia tu pesa ingine. Kwa maana wale wako nazo wako na nguvu. Wakitaka kurudisha wachenji wakuje na hizi mpya watakuwa nazo. Kwa hivyo hakuna kitu wamefanya, ni pesa tu wametumia zaidi.
Haibi milioni, wanaiba bilioni siku hizi. Kwa hivyo na imani kabisa hii pesa kubadilishwa ndio pesa ya zamani iregeshwe, itamaliza ufisadi.
Kamche Menza, Channel 1 News.
All right, that is just a view of what people are saying on the streets, and also what our leaders are saying. You know, we've had Member of Parliament John Mbadi talking about that, and there is one issue that the ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi said, that the fight against corruption doesn't end with the new currency. That it's actually bigger than the currency.
Yes, and
your thoughts on that?
Yes, and you can know a leader by what he stands for. Mheshimiwa Mudavadi has spoken for quite some time now about sack these people. At least the ministers mentioned, or the cabinet secretaries mentioned, and the PSS should have the courage to say, we are stepping aside. And if not, the president should call them to his table and tell them, I do not have confidence in you anymore, step aside. So he wants these culprits to leave the stage.
He said that he wants handcuffs,
yes,
not handshakes.
And he has talked about handcuffs, literally meaning that these people must go through the legal process and get jailed for whatever they have done. So we need to see more action from the president. Sack the corrupt. He needs to see the corrupt return the loot. He needs to see the people come out and say, we have done wrong, we are stepping aside. And remember, Mudavadi speaks with an experience. In the 90s, after the elections, when he was made the Minister for Finance, the country was awash with all this dirty money. The illicit money was all over. Who helped the country to mop up all this illicit money? It was Mheshimiwa Mudavadi. He mopped up all the illegal monies. And he closed the banks that were involved in illegal businesses. So maybe Uhuru needs to consult him more and maybe tell him, my brother, sit here, help me solve this economic crisis.
So you should see to the leader, Musalia Mudavadi.
Yes, Uhuru needs to consult Mudavadi on these matters, because he has the experience. He has dealt with this mess before. He knows where the country is going.
Okay.
He knows where we have the holes. He can help him seal the holes. So I think he could do a better job.
Prof, I have confidence in the National Security Intelligence. I have confidence in Haji, and I have confidence in Kinoti. I speak with Kinoti on matters of this kind, and he knows where he is. Kinoti is the only person with Haji who can put this game to an end. He started off well. He was putting these culprits in jail. He was calling them. But some people somewhere interfered. Uhuru should let go those who are interfering with Kinoti so that Kinoti can put these people in jail. By consulting Mudavadi,
the failures of George Kinoti were not because of his own doing, but other people's doing.
Yes, they are interfering with the Kinoti. I know Kinoti. I sit with him almost on a daily basis. Issues of consulting Mudavadi are okay, but why? If we have Kinoti, if we have Haji, something ought to be done. Kinoti is the only man today, and the Director of National Security Intelligence. Those two men, they know exactly what's going on. And I have confidence in those men.
You've
And
opened,
I've-
you've opened Pandora's box
and
there,
I have
you know.
confidence in the national security intelligence in this country. They know everything. The president came up, he had a goodwill, he appointed some of them in strategic places, things worked, but then some people from somewhere started crying foul, oh, we are being targeted, our community is being targeted, yet they are stealing from fertilizer, they are stealing money meant for dams. Those culprits are known. Even the Minister for Finance has already written statements at the DCI. What we are waiting for is handcuffs, the way Musalia has said, to take this man to jail. We don't really care what is going to, the shenanigans that are happening. Kinoti has the capacity to put these people in because he has already had the evidence. The only thing is, I don't know why there's a go slow on him. I don't know why the president, and I blame the president for having stepped on Kinoti's toes, because who else can step on his toes?
So now
when he gave him the mandate.
failure of Kinoti is put on the president.
Yes, because he told him to go ahead. Why can't Kinoti take the fuel on this Kamorwar Dam, how do you call it? Kimorere Dam, or what have you. Those culprits are there, they are known. They have recorded statements. Why can't they be taken to jail tomorrow? Kinoti has got the evidence. Let's not go politicking on issues and divert attention now on currency.
3 minutes past the top of the hour. It's now 8:03 a.m. Let's take a look at what's happening on the road with Doreen Arange. Doreen, so where are you and what is the status?
Belt ya luminous green kama reflector. Baba reflector mwenyewe.
Hello. Yes. Right, and again, a very good morning to you right about now. Just checking out for you what is happening across our major roads in the city as far as traffic is concerned. And now I'm on the Professor Wangari Maathai Road, which was previously the Pangani roundabout. And this particular road was just, intersected to different other roads so as to ease traffic along Thika Road. And what you're seeing right now on your screens, that is the Dr. Griffins Road. These are vehicles that are leaving Juja Road using the Dr. Griffins Road, heading all the way to Thika Road, as well as also using the other lane, which is heading to the CBD. And as far as traffic is concerned on that particular lane, nothing really much happening, as it's just swift moving of vehicles. This is unlike what we'd expect in this morning hours, because normally we'd be expecting building up of traffic, but that is not the case, because we're just seeing swift moving of vehicles. That is on the lane that is leaving Juja Road, using the Dr. Griffins Road, heading all the way to the CBD. On the other lane, that is the lane that is now leaving Thika Road, leaving the Thika Road estates. And earlier on, with the way Ram was saying that there was a bit of building up of traffic, but as of now, it's just eased up. That is the lane that is leaving Thika Road, leaving the Kasarani area, Zimmerman, Sportsview, heading all the way to the CBD on that particular lane. Also just showing swift moving of vehicles. I mean, this is not like what we'd experience in this morning hours, because normally we'll just be seeing building up of traffic. But then again, like I said earlier, the road, Thika Road, was just reconstructed, and better intersections also just put in place to ensure that traffic is eased up across this major road. Now on the other lane that is leaving the CBD, heading to Thika Road and the estates along Thika Road, also on that lane also just showing swift moving of vehicles. Nothing really much happening as far as traffic is concerned. But on the other side, just on the under tunnel on the other side, I can see a little bit of building up of traffic on that area. This is not on the lane that is coming to the CBD. Also just showing a little bit of building up of traffic on that particular side, and also on the lane that was formerly known as also the Forest Road, also on that particular lane, also just showing swift moving of vehicles. Now that is the lane that I was saying earlier on the under tunnel, whereby we're just seeing a slight building up of traffic on that particular lane, but also just showing that vehicles are really moving at a slow pace, heading to the CBD from Thika Road and the estates alike, heading to the CBD. But on this other side, when we come to the other side, that this is now what is now referred to as Professor Wangari Maathai Road, which was previously known as Forest Road. Now, this is that road whereby the former Nairobi governor, that is Evans Kidero, as he was renaming major roads in the city, this was one of the roads that was renamed, which was previously known as
previously known as Forest Road, it was renamed to Professor Wangari Maathai Road in just honor of the good works that she did to safeguard our environment, to safeguard our national parks. And so in honor of her, the former governor decided to name this road as Professor Wangari Maathai Road. The other road that also got a name was the Charles Rubia Road in the CBD in honor of the good works that he did to ensure that Kenya, became a multi-party. So these are just some of the roads that were renamed. That was in 2016 when the former governor was renaming some of these major roads in the city in honor of our leaders and the good works that they did for our country. And so on this particular lane, on the lower side of this particular, the Professor Wangari Maathai Road, these are vehicles that are also just leaving Thika Road, heading to the CBD using the road, also just showing bits of building up of traffic on that particular lane, but also just showing moving at a very, very slow pace. That is the lane that is leaving the Thika Road area, using the Professor Wangari Maathai Road, heading to the CBD on that lane, just showing a bit of building up of traffic on that particular lane, but also just showing moving at a very, very slow pace. Also, unlike what we see across major roads, whereby at this time of the morning, around 8:10, 8:08, we normally see traffic police just on these specified roads trying to control traffic. That is not what we've been able to witness across this particular road. But I believe later on, as we'll be checking for our viewers what will be happening, we will be able to see them just trying to control traffic across this particular roads. And also later on, we'll be checking out what will be happening on the other side of the road. Now, this will be the road that is leaving Westlands, heading to Thika Road. That's what we'll be checking out for our viewers later on, and also just giving any alternative routes if there will be any, especially for those heading to their workstations and heading to their businesses. But as far as traffic is concerned, this is just what is happening across the Professor Wangari Maathai Road.
See the traffic that is moving from that area, that is Professor Wangari Maathai Road. It's now taking us 9 minutes past 8. We are shifting gears now back to Eyes on Politics right here. It was all about, the currency. Remember, Kenyans have until October 1st to exchange the old 1,000 shilling notes with the new ones that have been given by the CBK. But still, the debate goes on. Keep the tweets coming in. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya on Twitter, at KBC Television, at Jane Ombui, and at Ram Agugo. Now, as we bring these things to a close, there is one thing that we should not fail to talk about. I quote this: "Unanipigia simu, mimi si bwana yako." So that is what Sonko said while giving his speech. And this made the women representative, that is Honorable Esther Passaris, to leave the Madaraka Day celebrations, walking out, that he says he is not his husband, that he should pick up his her phone calls at any time, that he is a busy man. Your thoughts on this? Because people have been saying that that is gender discrimination.
No, first of all, Sonko should not be governor of Nairobi.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he is. He has sunk too low. You don't treat someone's mother, someone's sister, a woman who has an office like Esther Passaris the way he's treating her. You don't turn a leader into some perceived girlfriend in your mind, how you treat your women, and then you bring it on the public podium. He needs to apologize for what he has done, both to Passaris and the women of Kenya. Number two, you don't find a leader doing what he's doing, recording leaders while talking to them and exposing them on social media.
There was a conversation that
it's already doing rounds.
Going rounds. That a WhatsApp conversation
that it's a wrong thing from a leader, and Sonko, to say the least, he needs to apologize. He's sunk too low, and the whole thing is a facade.
That was too low for him as a governor.
Too low, even for any man. Forget about a governor. Even for any man to do that. You cannot do that.
But Esther Passaris has received a lot of bashing. Even on that same day, people were saying, Kwenda, end up. And there was a lot of heckling from people who were there. And I remember even in the past, there was a time that Miguna called Esther Passaris certain names that I cannot be able to mention here. She has been a victim of
So where is Miguna? Same behaviors. Where does it take you? You have a certain character you build, and people look at you and they say, this is a fool. And so Even when people are shouting, Kwenda, Kwenda, who are the people shouting? You can almost say they are just fools around. You don't do that.
You don't do that?
You don't do that.
Professor?
I'm very glad with what my brother has said. Recently, I was in the US and I addressed members of Congress, and I lobbied Congress to have specific names, not to go into the US, and that has been taken by the US Embassy. Now I have something also to talk, because if you disrespect women, whether a woman does anything bad, my father used to walk away before I became a chokora, whenever things happened wrongly, walk away and come back. You cannot take a fellow member of political establishment and treat her the way this man has treated this lady. Songo is a misfit, and I've said it many, many times, and I'm ready to say it again. Look at the way he behaves. He behaves like some kind of junk fool who has come from nowhere. I mean, and you see clowns that walk with him, drive with him, clapping and pointing fingers. This is the kind of leadership that you want.
Are those just allegations that you're just making?
Yeah, but we have seen it on TV. People telling Pasaris, go away, Kwenda. Are those not his clowns that go with him? Is that the kind of leadership we need in this country? Would Songo stand if he was in the US or in the UK? Would he stand on the table and abuse another political leader that you are not my wife? What kind of moral dignity does he have? Nairobi has sunk into the drainage, and to unwind it will take a very strong next governor. But if Kenyans want to elect him again, shame on you.
Yeah, but even how was he dressed? Mimicking an IG of the country? He's a governor. He is not the Nairobi's Inspector General. So the things this guy is doing, they just, it calls for order. We need.
You know, you're talking about a governor.
Yes, I'm talking about a governor, and I'm a politician. I can defend my position out there. It is best. It's not the right thing.
He should resign and go home. We have so many technocrats.
Based on what? He has worked as a single-handedly without a deputy for long.
Yeah, and he's just playing games, taping people. Like me, if he called me to his office, I will not go. Because he'll be looking out for either dishing money to me, tape me, and then put it viral. Is that kind of leadership? No. Really? No. No, sir.
Now, these comments, at this point in time, as we wrap things up, the comments shared during this live broadcast are neither mine, not that of the Kenya Broadcasting Corporations. They belong to those who have mentioned, their panelists only. We do not bear any liability that might occur. That is just a public disclaimer, but keep the tweets coming in. As we bring things to a close.
If it's public interest, if you are in a public,
yes,
public interest demands that taxpayers scrutinize you. And
yes,
this is scrutiny, and there's justification to this. So if somebody wants to take me to court, he has to be ready.
You are ready to go to court for anything that you say?
We shall always go to court. Of course, you'll also go to court with me. But
no, I will not.
But let's put it this way. The right to speak as a taxpayer on a leader that has been elected is within the confines of the Constitution.
I want us to bring these things to a close here, and I want to give each and every one of you time to just say and have a final word. Also, putting into perspective what you were talking about when we started the conversation here on Eyes on Politics about your 2022 political ambitions, but we'll give you time to talk about that. Let me start with you, Mheshimiwa. Have a final word, address the Kenyans concerning what your view is concerning everything that has been happening, Madaraka Day celebration, the national prayer breakfast that we had, issues to do with gender discrimination, your view.
Okay. On matters finance, I urge Kenyans to support the president. We have a bigger problem of corruption. Let us support him, even as they bring the new notes. Let us support him. Change is as good as rest. And next thing is the Kenyan problem is bigger. I have one point just to make.
Yes.
We have a man who can fix it. We have Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
That is a man.
That is the man. He understands the Kenyan problem. He has the Kenyan dream at his heart. He has been on the scene, as I said, as a Minister for Finance. He performed splendidly well. Kenyans know him for a sober guy. We need sobriety, we need firmness, we need leadership, we need a man who can say it as it is, and that man is Musalia Mudavadi. So I urge you, even as we suffer for another 2 years, be patient. We'll fix this thing.
We suffer with patience.
Yes, but we'll get this thing fixed.
All right, Professor.
My fellow Kenyans, I'm so glad to have been given this opportunity, and that's why I'm honoring you by removing my hat. Kenya needs new change. Kenya needs new blood. Kenya needs new thinkers. You have seen people who have been on the stage. We have seen them being recycled, singing the same music, having no policy, being dunderheaded, thinking that they're the ones who are ordained and blessed, and that their umbilical cords and the placentas that came with them from their mother's womb is superior to other Kenyans. This is time that Kenyans should do an Obama by electing somebody of universal suffrage, somebody who knows what the world looks like, somebody who has been out there, somebody who can share your common goals and achieve whatever it takes to make Kenya a viable place. But I will also take this opportunity to thank our President, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. He has tried, but he has been left alone by those he trusted most. Those he trusted most have run away from him, and therefore it's a duty for us as citizens and taxpayers to come to help him. I will also urge the President to set Kinoti free, to take those people to jail, wherever has a scandal, whoever has been interrogated, he should go to the court of law and answer for justice. And as for Songo, you are a brother, even if we have spoken what we have spoken. Please calm down and call Pasaris for a cup of tea. We need a unifying person, and I'm unifying the both of you. It's not impossible to speak with Pasari. Pasari is our sister. Songo, you are our brother. Sit down and let us see what happens. In politics, 1 day is like 10 years. Let us not have this kind of disharmony. Thank you, my fellow countrymen.
And he has a space in our government. When we form government, we'll consider him for something.
And when I form mine, I'll consider them also for something.
You believe he will lose?
No, he's going to lose big. He's not going to.
Only God can be my witness, and only Kenyans can be my witness. Whoever wants to bring my dream down is
But
here.
when you talk about placenta issues here, will Kenyans really support you?
I'm talking of the placenta that came with me from the stomach.
And all placentas are buried in our culture. He knows that.
And
he knows that.
And there is nothing uncommon. So Kenyans, it's up to you to decide. Whoever wants to bring me down, it's you to judge. If I'm fit, I am fit. If I'm not fit, don't judge me by not having had experience.
Do you accept their proposal?
In jail, I cannot accept when I'm going for the big seat.
that is Professor George Wajakoya, that is Roots Party leader and also a presidential candidate, together with Godfrey Kanoti, director of a Global AIDS Network. Thank you very much, Waishimiwa, for joining me. 2022 discussions are still going on. Remember, the president still gave his directive that we stop campaigning, but I don't know about you, but keep the tweets coming in. The hashtag Good Morning Kenya. Remember, as I said, comments shared during this broadcast are neither mine nor that of the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. They belong to the panelists themselves. Good Morning Kenya continues. We're taking a short break. We'll be back. It has been Eyes on Politics. My name is Ram Aguko. Do not go too far.